Right, we are here today on the absolutely beautiful River Trent in the middle of Nottingham. We've got, in the background there, you see there's world famous Trent Bridge, forest ground in the background, cricket ground too, just over there. And we're here today basically just to do a real sort of simple video on the basics of pole fishing on a river. We've not really covered that yet in any sort of depth. So just want to like run through a few things. We're just going to keep it nice and simple today. We're just fishing one line, 13 metres. We've got a couple of rigs, which I'm going to go through in a minute. And basically all the little things to do is in regards to feeding, how to like get the most out of your peg. There's a lot of fish present here at the minute, so it's a good opportunity to get down and, you know, and get some real nice pole fishing done. You can park your car behind your peg. It's free fishing and it's £2 to park your car, so it's, you know, absolutely fantastic access. So no long walks or anything like that. So right, so like I said to you just now, I've got one line at 13 metres of plumbed up. It's about 6.5 foot deep. So ideally I'd like it a tiny bit deeper for roach and dace, but you know, it's still a nice depth to catch fish in. Rigs wise, I've gone mega simple, as you'll probably see. So I've got two rigs. One is 1.5 grams. This is shotted with, got number 8s down the line there. So 3 number 8 droppers, a bulk, and some and a couple of trimming shot above it. So 1.5 grams float, wire stem, hollow bristle, and with this rig, I've just got a shorter length of line from my elastic to my float because this is the rig that I want to fish with over my ground bait. I can fish over depth with it for bigger fish potentially later in a session. That is probably the rig I'm going to use the most. The flow's quite steady here. I could probably get away with 1 gram to be honest, but I think the fishing is going to be quite good, so I've opted to go a little bit heavier to get my bait down a little bit faster. And I've got another rig. This is kind of like a backup. I might not even use this to be honest, but this one is just strung out shots like that up the line, and this is to basically fish. This is a little bit lighter float, so this is like it's a 1.25 gram or 1.25 grams. So this basically is to fish like past my bait, like if I'm loose feeding, I might want to fish further down my peg. And with this one, you notice the length of line from my pole tip, from my pole tip to my float is a lot longer than my other one. Because this, I'm not really going to be fishing over my ground bait with this. I can still put it over my ground bait, but this is the one I will use like if I need to chase fish off the back of my feed down my peg and if I'm going to be loose feeding. So right, that's my rigs, nice and simple. Chuck some ground bait in, and I'm now going to get fishing and go through all the little nuances, if you like, as to what to do and how to control your feeding with the fish at different times of the day. So I'm just going to pop a caster on. Caster's a really good bait on the Trent at the minute. So I'm just going to hook it through there like that. In fact, just while I'm doing that, I'll just run through the bait. So I've got in here a pint of hemp, a pint of casters, and I've chucked a few tears in there as well for a little bit of a change bait. That's what I'm going to loose feed. Dead easy, nice and simple. Nice fresh casters, and so it's just tin sonu hemp. So nice and simple, straight out. Boom, there we go. These are casters that I've got obviously separate. That's my hemp separate, but I can alter the ratios on my loose feed should I need to. Won't go fishing on the Trent without yellow maggots. These are yellow maggots, not bronze maggots. I find they work just as well, and you don't get stained hands. Some red maggots there just for change of hook bait, and I've got some pinkies as well. Should it be really difficult and the match angler in me just can't help but take pinkies to my peg. Got a few worms there as well, just a couple. You can sometimes, if it's really good, especially for dace, worm heads can be really good. So anyway, I've got a caster on now. I'm going to ship out so I can avoid the swans. And let's just try and run you through a few things. So I've put a mould my bait here, like that, where I'm going to put my tip. So I'm just going to go, actually, I'm going to go just down past it, just a little bit. See if we get a bite there. Oh, there's a little hold up, did you see that? That's a hold up, yep. Put that up on the camera. That's a good start. Little dace. Little dace lot. He's up quite a way down, that one. So, just going to use my disgorger. Be kind to him. Smash my caster up. Pop another one. I'm just going to show you quickly how I hook this lot. So I've got a nice big hook on it. It's a 16. You don't need to mess about really with light lines and stuff on a Trent. It's a 16 and going through the side of it. So there's plenty of hook points showing at the side. So when a fish takes that, you're gonna hook it 9 times out of 10. It's just on an 010 hook length as well. There's a chance I might catch a potentially like a big perch or something. You could hook anything really, pleasure fishing. So you need, there's not really any place for fishing like sort of 08s and that sort of thing on here anymore. It used to be, you know, a long time ago. But just going to chuck some ground bait. I'm just going to start loose feeding a little bit. Just bring some fish in. I'm just going to go down my peg a little bit more. You notice I've got my line above my float there. Oops. Shipped back a little bit too far. Nice roach. Oops. Acrobatic roach. So again, he's got hooks a little bit far down there. So what I'm going to do is just take ½ an inch off that depth. So I'm already off the bottom because I've just started, so there'll be a lot of fish in and around the bottom. So I'm just going to shallow up, it's like probably an inch, maybe not even quite that. Just a tiny little adjustment. Another caster on. A lot of swans here now, actually. Making shipping in and out a little tricky. They're just after a free meal though, which I'll give them when I've finished fishing. That, don't know if you picked that up then, but that looked like one that was foul locked. So it was like I went through the fish and yeah, they're mine back. So what I'm going to do now, so I know there's a load of fish there. They're just off the back of my ground bait. So I'm going to try just above my ground bait now. So you see that? It's like gone in and it's not quite, I think I need to probably change my caster, but I think, yeah, definitely. I think there is where I need to put my rig at the minute, and this will change throughout the day. It changes all the time. You've really got to sort of stay on top of it, and this is what like sort of separates really good anglers from others sometimes, is because they just know where to go, where to put your rig, all that sort of thing. But it's mega important. That's in, and that was down there straight away though. It did come off. So there's a lot of fish there at the minute. So what I've got to try and do, while looking at this, is sort of like calm everything down a little bit. I've chucked my bait in, so to get them there to begin with. I've potted a few in. And now what I've got to try and do is find out the best way to hook one at every chuck. It's the name of the game. So that can involve many different things. So like from how you put your rig in, how you lay it in, where you lay it in, how much you feed. So like, do I want to be loose feeding? Do I want to be cupping balls of ground bait in? I mean, they are easier to catch over ground bait, I must admit. Nice dace. It's hooked better though, that one, look. A little bit on the side of the mouth. So, yeah, what I've got to try and stay in touch with and work out is how best to feed it. So, like, since we started this video, I've only fed once with loose feed. Now, and probably, I know there's a lot of fish there at the minute. I do want to keep them there, and I probably want to get some more there as well. But I don't want too many to begin with, because too many in your peggy, you'll just miss an absolute million bites. Little roach. So I'll show you on this jug what I'm thinking. So I've got just a single caster on that. Like that. So at the minute, I think what's happening is there's a lot of fish all around my ground bait, like they're around that ground bait and they're off the back of it as well. So if I put my rig here, or anywhere in the vicinity of where I've fed that volume of bait, I'm gonna miss a lot of bites. Like, there's one little bit of a hold up there, yep. I'm gonna miss a lot of bites and I'm not gonna connect with loads. Now obviously I don't wanna be doing that, and see that one dropped off. And as a match angler, you've really got to work out as quickly as you can how to get the best out of your peg. So obviously we had that one drop off. I'm just going to do this just to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So got that one there. Then so I've popped my bait there. So like, this is where I've popped my bait here, virtually where my float is now. Some laggy hanging out. So there, fast bite, really quick, really quick. So I'm going to go again, look, over my bait, there. Now I know I'm going to get a bite. See that? Oh, that one's actually on. But we missed the bite before that, so I've missed an opportunity already to catch a fish. And if you add that up over the course of 5 hours, you're actually wasting a lot of time. And what the best anglers do is work it out the fastest. Work out how to get the best from the peg the fastest. So I'm just going to demonstrate something now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loose feed a bit of bait this time as well. So I've put my rig there over my bait, so I'm just going to do it one more time just to show you. So flow's right really steady here, but like, that is where I put my ground bait there. That's like, there's a lot of bait there in that vicinity. So there's a little hold up there, fast bite, that's on as well. Maybe that is the best place to put my rig. Small dace. I mean, the nice stamp, that one's actually had it on the way down. Look, that was the little hold up bite. I mean, at the minute, it seems pretty calm. I feel like there's quite a lot of fish there, but I want to catch some roach. The roach are bigger, so you want to try and target them really. So I'm going to do this chop. Loose feed some. Now, put my rig this side of my bait. So I'm going to swing it in above me, like that. You see like that, you pick that up on the camera, it's like miles above my bait. Like, I've got no bait anywhere near that. But I can still catch fish there. So really, you kind of, what you're doing is that one's actually slightly bigger, look, as well. You're actually picking off like a lot of them from around your bait, where the ones on the, eventually, the ones over your ground bait and where that loose feed's landing, they will settle down. That'll all settle down. It might take 40 minutes, might take an hour and a half, might take 2.5 hours. But you are kind of in control of what's happening all the time in that. So I'll swing my rig upstream, look, so I'm just going to do that again for you. So I don't pick it up. So I'm going to flick my bulk above there. So like, I'll point that, like my ground bait's here, like, and I've already had a bite, like. In fact, I think that one's on my caster. No, it's not. So lower it down, zip it down that way. I mean, it might be wrong, so, you know, but that's got to the bottom, look, and then I've had a bite there. So what I'll try and do is get my rig to the bottom, and I want to be missing as few bites as possible. So that's not good. So I missed a couple there. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's not, nothing is cut and dry. It's not, fishing isn't simple. It's not like that. There's always variances in what you have to do. So this time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to chuck it like off the back of my bait. So I'm going to go downstream and put my rig in downstream. And that's already had it on the drop, that one. Oh, he's come off. So what I actually might do now, I've got a lot of ground bait mixed up, well, not loads, but I have got plenty of ground bait mixed up. So I can think about potting a ball or two. Now, I find it on the Trent especially, and on other rivers actually, I've had it on other rivers where it can be like it, but like feeding ground bait in a quantity, so in like little hits. So you like feed sort of maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 balls at a time. But what that'll do is it concentrate them and it'll stop them like coming up for that loose feed. If I can get them feeding on ground bait, they basically just become easier to catch. Because everything's near the deck and it's where you want it. So loose feeding, you'll miss a lot of bites anyway. Very good for pulling fish into your peg. Very, very good for pulling fish into your bag. But, so, what I might try actually, I'm just going to not loose feed anything. So what I'm going to do, instead of giving it a hit, 'cause it's a little bit early on in the session, it's not like, been fishing for ages. So let's have a look. So this is some of the wetter mix I fished, I fed earlier. So it's nice and damp, this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a small palmful of casters and a small palmful of hemp to that, so it's even richer than it was before. That'll add a tiny amount of water to it as well. That will. So with ground bait, I like to feel it. I like to feel things by the texture of it. So this is like almost my little top-up mix. I can change it. I can change it with this. So this is still like in like a real. You'll see the difference between them two lot. That's in like a real soft state. This is in like a bit of a, you know, there's a lot of fish there at the minute, so I want to be feeding that. I don't want to be feeding something light and fizzing everywhere, and you know, I've already done that to attract the fish into my peg. What I can do later, if I need to, if the fish like leave, what I can do later is feed, you know, a couple of balls of that and a couple of soft balls to get them to come back up into the peg. It's all, you know, it's all different. It's different every day you go fishing. And it's never ever the same 2 days running. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to feed one ball, and I'm going to feed it exactly where I fed that other bait. So I'm just going to pop it in there. Now, I'm not going to loose feed out for a bit. I'm going to just leave it like, I don't know, just have 10 minutes fishing, where I'm just going to put, I'm staying at the same depth actually, so I'm going to, that's that much off bottom, look, so it's probably 8" off bottom that, at the minute where I'm fishing. That's my little mark. Because there's a lot of fish about, so I don't want to be fishing underneath them, like with my, you know, if you imagine all the fish are here, sort of this depth, and your shots are underneath him, you're going to get a lot of false bites. It's a little bit, you know, just makes a bit of sense, to be honest. So again, caster's been good so far. So I put a single caster on. But what I'm not going to do, I'm just not going to loose feed for a bit, and I'm going to fish that ball out, and I'm going to see how long it lasts. So I'm going to put my rig just slightly above it. I want to be almost going straight in and straight down over the top of it. Bite straight away. There's clearly a lot of fish there. You probably, to be honest, there's that many there that, and it's a roach as well. So that to me, nice little chunky roach. So that to me tells me that that fish, you know, it's come to that ball, and I'm concentrating them nearer the bottom. I'm deciding what they want to do. I mean, the fish will always tell you, but it just means I can get them where I want them. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to continue for a little bit longer, and I'll catch you all next time.